Oh yeah, life talks with Joe Sinatra on the walk, baby, on the walk. It's good to it's good to get the hell out, especially when you're off. It's off days. I ain't off from everything because, like I said, I'm building my empire. I'm building my business. So I'm gonna use whatever means that I can to add outside currency or outside profits, and I'm gonna take that and add it to what I'm doing and what I'm building. Yeah, my voice is a little hoarse, is a little sore. I'm gonna tell you why too, right? Sometimes when I get overwhelmed and I get too in my head, I like to scream, just to get the anger, the energy, the negativity. I just scream to get it, just to get it all out. And once I get it all out, I feel better. My voice actually gets clearer. I feel more, like myself. And I don't feel overwhelmed anymore. They say when you go up to the mountaintop and then you just scream, or you go into a place where you're comfortable and you can just be yourself and be in your own energy and you just scream. Yeah, that's how I felt, and so that's what I did. Because there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling than when you do something for yourself to make yourself feel better and it doesn't cost you anything. And you're not wasting none of your time. On top of not wasting any time, you're not wasting anybody else's time. And nobody's wasting your time. So if you want to release all that negative energy, look at the yellow butterfly. You have to scream it out, channel it out, exercise it out. There's many ways to get that energy off you, especially the negative energy. And I say especially negative energy because you don't want to get positive energy off of you. If anything, you want to keep positive energy for as long as you can keep positive energy, because every single second and every single moment of every single day, the world is attempting to send that negativity your way. And that's why you have to be, Have a good day, gentlemen. That's why you have to be in that state of mind where not only can you create peace, but the peace that you create for yourself affects others, because you don't want to be a part of that negativity that affects others. Peace and negativity affects people, but they do it differently. But they both have a part to play in this thing called life. And when you live in life, even though you have to live as real as reality can get, that's why it's easy for me to find things and to find ways just to either entertain myself or to escape from this reality. You can escape from this reality just by jumping into your imagination. You can escape from this reality by doing something fun, doing something kind. Doing something kind for somebody. Taking a little time from your day and having a 5-minute, 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute conversation with somebody that you know might need it. Not the person that might want it because they like to talk and they want to talk to everybody and they can't let the time go by where they don't feel the need to fill the silence. You could be around people, or you could be around someone, and then as soon as it gets silent for like 5 seconds, and you go like, and you just start thinking about life. As soon as you do that, they start talking. You finally get a moment to just think and to clear your head and to get a nice little idea, or even think about what the person just said. And as soon as that silence comes, they start talking again. Because they can't let that silence go. They have to fill the silence with talking or with noise or with some bullshit. Because they still, and Kanye West said, old niggas mentally still in high school. A lot of people is mentally still in the fucking baby crib. They're still in the cradle because their mind, their mind was never allowed to be used, or their mind was never allowed to be trained or cultivated, right? So when their mind isn't getting trained and is not getting cultivated, especially in stuff that would help them and then in turn would help others, they get stuck. They get stuck. And that place of being stuck is not a good place to be. Because it's very hard to grow out of a specific place being stuck when there's nobody or nothing around you to be the reason or the catalyst for that change. So you end up staying the same. And people end up staying the same person, staying the same people. They don't, man, see me sweating? See me sweating? But yeah. When you get stuck in that place, and you get stuck in that mindset, and you never have anybody around you to be the catalyst for you to change, or to be the reason why you learn more, grow more, evolve past a certain point, you get stuck there forever. And a lot of people are realizing that now. That's why a lot of, people that's older is now jumping on the woke movement bandwagon, and they, instead of them doing the work, they're using their age to their convenience. But you know how they say, a fool grows old. Age doesn't bring maturity, because even a fool grows old. So you got a bunch of old fools out here thinking that they doing something, or thinking that they saying something. But realistically, they just going on one of our pages and finding content. And just because they are a certain age, if they say something, people are going to look at it like, oh, this person knows what they're talking about because they're older, or they look like they got a beard and facial hair, so they make them look mature. But that really is an old fool who really didn't learn no lesson, never did nothing to help nobody. Never did nothing to help themselves. But then as soon as they see the children who never strayed from the path, the children who never strayed and went to all this worldly trinkets and worthless dross, when they see children like that and they see how inspiring those children are, they want to snub out those children's light, and then they want to act like those children. That's why you have people that's in their adolescent years, and when they're acting childish, people look at them like that person's immature. You know, they always been in a certain way where they seem or always perceive themselves as immature. So this is just another one of those times, because those people have people around them that they've hurt, scammed, or took something from, right? And then now those people, they're not just around them in their environment and where they day-to-day and frequent, but they're also in their family, they're also in their friend circle, they're also in their business circle, they're also in their environment and the places where they go. So those people, they never get the opportunity to actually clown or fool people for a long time. And that's what Bob Marley said. You can fool some people sometimes, but you can't fool all the people all the time, because those people, they end up going around people that are associated with the people that they fooled, right? Or they lied to. And those people, like I said before, the person that never believed you is going to be the one to carry your flag. And those people, they're not carrying their flag in a way to say, okay, that's a good person, or that's a person that changed, or that's a person that, really leveled up or really elevated from being in one state of mind, and now they're in a completely elevated new state of mind where they can teach from the lessons and the things that they've done in the past. But these people aren't teaching from no lessons that they've learned or done in the past. They're just using influence and likeness to increase their financial gain or their financial standings in the world or in society, right? They're not trying to better themselves, their family, because their family, you see their family is not around them, but it's not for the reason that you think, right? While you're away from your family, you could tell the people that's away from their family that's actually working and that's actually building their life and that's actually doing something to better the environment, better the world, better the children that comes after them. And then you see people that's away from their family, and it's not them being away from their family, it's their family being away from them, right? And whoever they are around is the same kind of situations that's gonna be what was when they were around their family. And that's the ironic part about it, right? That's how you could tell how a person really is, right? Because I'm never gonna stop being a kind-hearted person, but other people is never gonna stop taking advantage of kind-hearted and kind people. So when kind-hearted and kind people are taken advantage of, they tend to get removed from the areas and the situations that they're in, because the situations and the areas that they're in has become so much so that they can't get themselves out. So certain things happen miraculously and they get delivered. And then you wonder, oh, where this person go? Where that person go? I haven't seen them in so long. I haven't heard from them in so long. And that's the type of person, that's the kind-hearted person that God delivers from wherever area or environment that they're in that isn't helpful or isn't sustainable to that person's conducive well-being. And then they get removed, and then everybody in the neighborhood and everybody that used to be around them and everybody that used to be kind to them and the people that used to be mean to them and abuse them, they all miss them. And they all talk about them and they all gather around, right? But the people that hurt their family and hurt the people that's in their environment and in their neighborhoods, when they move, they don't move and be loud and bold about their, their life, right? They create falsehoods to the people that's new around them, because the person that's the person that they are, they're not able to change that person. They're not able to adjust or get rid of their personality. So when they get around new people, those new people are going to feel like how the old people felt when they just started getting to know them. And then it's going to come to a point where that person is going to once again have to move out of that environment in that neighborhood, and it's going to become quickened. It's going to become part of the quickening, right? Whenever you refuse to learn the lesson that you recently had to learn, every single thing after that, it happens in an instance. It happens one after the other. And you're gonna ask God, or you're gonna ask whatever, you're gonna ask yourself, why are you always in situations, and why are you always one after the next? Something's going wrong, or something's going this, or something's going that, and you won't check yourself, and you won't go into yourself. Bless me. Thank you. I say thank you to the universe. Like, they say that when you sneeze, your heart stops. So when my heart stopped, I gotta be thankful for the life, right? You gotta be thankful for the life that you have, and gotta be grateful for the life that you have, or you won't have that life anymore. And that's just how life is. So when they get around new people, and then those new people start to feel like how the old people started feeling when they were just getting to know them, they start realizing, damn, these people are catching on too quick. So they either got to move, cause disruption, cause issues, cause a fight, start a fight with somebody, start issues with somebody, so that they could take their mind off of who that person really is. And then they could start thinking about, because you know how when those people, they start doing stuff and acting up and acting irrational and acting narcissistic, they start playing victim. So the people around them could start looking at them like, oh, well, maybe they just need somebody to talk to, or maybe they just need something, somebody to help them. And all that shit right there is the shit that those narcissists and those people that take advantage of kind-hearted people, that's exactly how they keep you under that Mandela effect, under that illusion that they're a good person, right? They'll start a whole bunch of issues. Before they came around, there was no issues, right? And as soon as they come around, there's issues. And the issues is surrounding that specific person. And it's not like when the issues start, it's highlighting other people's flaws and other people's hidden secrets. It's just uncovering that one person's hidden flaws and hidden secrets and hidden intentions, right? Because they start drama with everyone, right? They not only do they start drama with everyone, they try to learn everyone and try to be friends with everyone. I'm completely opposite. I do not try to be friends with nobody. I do not try to talk to nobody. If I go somewhere, I got an old soul, right? And when you're raised the old school way, the old fashioned way, I should say, when you go somewhere, you speak up, right? You don't go into nowhere and not speak to the people that's there, or you don't give the common decency of respect, right? You don't give the common decency of gratitude of life, right? You're alive, that person is alive, and you can't even say good day, right? It's a good day, regardless of even if it's a bad day, I still say good day, because what if something happens 2 minutes later and the day that you was having that started off bad is immediately changed to good? Now you're going to be sitting there looking stupid, looking at God, apologizing for feeling how you felt before, instead of just going through that emotion and going through the feelings and still keeping the mindset of having a good day, right? That's me. I'm always going to try to have a good day, because I know that constantly, consistently there's bad things happening. There's flies all over the fucking place. You could sit down and take a breather and pull out something to eat or pull out something to drink and sit it right there in the outside, and you trying to enjoy nature, and then boom, a random fly from nowhere just comes and lands on your food and start crawling all over your shit, and you don't know where the fuck that fly was, but you know flies always landing in shit and landing on nasty shit. So now you got all this stuff that the fly landed on in your food. Crawling on your food, crawling all over your rice and your oxtail, crawling all over your curry chicken, crawling all over your pilau, crawling all over your stew chicken, crawling all over your pepper steak, crawling all over the pepper pot. You just now cook, just done cook. Plate of food nice and hot. Bunch of fly. Right? So that plate of food is a good day. And then the flies and everything else that could come and land in the food is the bad day. But if you continue to realize, shit, you know what? Let me bring out a little smaller portion, right? A smaller portion where I don't have to eat and then put the food down and worry about flies coming around or whatever, right? Or figure out a way to get outside and put a little net around in the area that you're gonna eat. And then when you're done eating in that area, then you could go outside the net and then bask in the grass, right? That's how I see it. I try to find the solution while the problem is still going on, right? I'll tell y'all something that happened at work with one of the cooks. Whenever, they might pass out the wrong order, or you might make an order and it looks like somebody else's order, so they give it to the other person, and now they're asking you to remake the same order that you made. Instead of talking about the order's already made, or you already did this, or you already did that, I just said, whenever they ask, just make it. Because I say that because it's going to save time and it's going to help carry along, especially when you got a bunch of people that's hungry and a bunch of people that's not having a good day, and they're coming to you to have a good day. They're coming to you for that one thing. It might be the only time of their day that they're able to come to your establishment, spend their money to have that certain experience. Not everybody can go to a 5-star restaurant for their lunch. Not everybody can go to a fancy spot that they can just sit down and the people that comes there, the food is so fancy that they don't have to worry about customer service because the food is just amazing. But when they come to certain places that is affordable, like fast food, you got to treat those people like they're going to a 5-star restaurant, because if you treat people like they're going to a 5-star restaurant, you're going to be showing the universe that you deserve a 5-star restaurant. You're going to be showing the people that you deserve a 5-star restaurant. That's just the same. It's just the scenario, or that's just the same implementations that I talked about when my father told me, don't dress for the job you have, dress for the job you want. I don't put on this attitude of today. I put on this attitude of tomorrow. I put on this attitude of the future. I put on this attitude of I want better. Even if what I have now is the best that I ever had, I still want better, because life is a progress. Life is always progressing, and this world is not progressing. This world is degressing and depressing everybody that's in it. So me fighting this good fight, I was thinking too yesterday, like I would never be able to get through and survive through all the turmoil and all the suffering and depression that I've been going through if it wasn't for a lot of you that make videos that it feeds my soul, I should say. Taking a line out of Kalai's book, right? It feeds my soul because it's not something that is drama driven. It's not something that is talking negativity about all this stuff that's going on. Yeah, they might touch on negative stuff, but they touch right back onto the positive things and the reason why things are even negative in the first place. So it makes me feel good that I said that prayer and I cried those cries and I made that wish on that shooting star 2001, about the same time Dre dropped, 2001. 3 years later. He said 3 years later the album is done, but 3 years later that's when I came to America. Now the Matrix is done. As the game. That song called Dreams. That was one of my favorites. Well, still one of my favorite songs. And thinking about that, like, I just want to say thank you. Because I am so thankful. I am so thankful for the people that make videos that I could listen to and I could feel like, we're on this journey and we could be on this journey together, but in separate places. And hearing your stories and hearing the way that you inspire and motivate others is inspiring me to continue what I do since I've been born. Because to tell you the truth, I was the only one up until about 2017 or 2014. I was the only one talking like this. The only one going around new people, making new friends, and keeping the same energy. No matter who the person is or who the people are or who the groups are, I kept the same energy. Free spirit, free mind. And I have to give my hat, my heart, and my soul tip to Bob Marley, because if it wasn't for Bob Marley, I probably would never have the confirmation to do what I do since I've been born. Because I said, like, the Rastaman is the last line of defense for the so-called black woman, the Indian, Niji, whatever you want to call her, the woman, period, the black man. The Rasta man is the last line of defense, because there's only bald-headed men in places of propaganda and propagandizing manipulation. There's no Rasta man in no place in Babylon that's corrupting the minds and the hearts of anyone. It's only bald heads. And that's why Jay-Z grew his hair, so he could show them something different. That's why I grew my Rasta out. So I could show the world that I'm not part of society. Society wants you to cut your roots all the damn time, trim your branches and trim your locks every single time. Right? If you fucking cut the damn tree limbs off every day or every week, are you gonna ever have a garden? Are you ever gonna have a forest? Are you ever gonna be fruitful and multiply if you keep cutting yourself down? That's how I see cutting your hair. You cut it when a woman comes on the internet and talks about how she's gonna do the big chop or she's gonna cut all her hair off. I don't never ever see that as something to celebrate, because what the fuck are you cutting your hair off for? Why are you cutting off your nose to spite your face? That's what cutting your hair is to be. Like, I understand a little trim. You got to take care of yourself and you got to keep yourself well groomed. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But you're gonna bald your head to look like what? Mad Max from Fury Road? The dude with the shit that he sprayed on his face, that's who you're gonna look like. That clean head motherfucker. You're gonna look like Mr. Clean for what? And then as soon as you cut your hair, you throw on a fucking wig. You throw on extensions. You go and get them braids that make your hair look like it goes down to your ass. And as soon as the haircut don't look good no more, you look fucking crazy. You look like one of them troll dolls that somebody used to just rang around and play with them safety scissors and cut off all the hair. And that's what you start looking like. You start looking dotish. You start looking like you have no home training. You start looking like you're always going to need to have your shit put together or put up. At least when you have your long hair, you could throw it in a ponytail. You could throw it up in a bun. You could put your bonnet on, and then it still looks pretty. It still looks cute. You still look like you. You still look sexy. You still look with that potential that you always have. But when you cut yourself down and you cut off yourself, you cut off that potential. You don't have the potential no more. Now you have to go start all the way from the damn seed, right? Not even starting from the seed. Now you have to cultivate yourself back into who you were, and then now you have to continue forward to who you were supposed to going to be, right? Because when you cut yourself and you cut your hair and you cut yourself off from consciousness and you cut yourself off from reality and feelings and emotions, you cut yourself off from your own future. God didn't give you the ability to grow long, luscious locks to cut the fucking thing off. That's the same thing in the same analogy as cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's the same thing. I don't care what you say. You could do. I'm not saying don't cut your hair. Matter of fact, I am saying don't cut your hair. But don't think that I'm telling you what to do. I'm telling you that when you cut your hair and you cut yourself off from consciousness, you cut yourself off from all those blessings. You cut yourself off from everything. You show ungratefulness. You show disgrace to what is yours. You show disgrace to the gift that is your essence. You show disgrace to the gift that is your livelihood. You show disgrace to the gift that is your beauty. Don't let society convince you to convince yourself that cut your hair or going bald is a beauty statement or fashion statement or any type of statement that says you are in control of your life. That is very much so the opposite. Because if a tree could continue to grow and be free forever and never be cut by anybody or any man that's running this society or any man that's trying to build a fucking what's the buildings called? Or build a fucking institution to go ahead and further indoctrinate children. If the trees could prevent that from happening, I promise you, they would never let you cut one leaf from them. Just like poison ivy could control the weeds, them trees will whack you so hard with one of them branches. And you know how hard a branch could hit you? One little ass branch could crush a car. What you think it's gonna do to you if a tree decides to slap the shit out of you? What would you do if a tree decides that it wants to slap the shit out of you? Because it doesn't want you to cut its branches anymore. It doesn't want you to cut its leaves anymore. It doesn't want you to pick its fruits no more. Huh? You think the farmers and the people that grow apples and fruits and berries and all that, you think every week they go into the damn garden and trim every single branch and every single leaf off of them shit so they look bare and bald, like a clean cut hair, like a nice clean fresh haircut, and they do a little shape up, right? You know how, but I don't know if you saw the ladybug, but it's a ladybug walking in. I just had to spit a little game real quick. I was like, hey, yo, lady. It's like, nah. But the farmers, they don't go into the garden and clip the motherfucking leaves off of the plants. The florists don't go into the rose bush and cut the fucking the petals off of the roses so it can look like a nice trimmed what is it? Uniformed look, right? You know how they want everybody to be in uniform. They want everybody to be uniformed, right? They want us to be one, formed against the many. But when that happens, it becomes the many formed against the one, because they're forming all that power that they think that they're forming. They're forming all that negativity and all that manipulation. They're forming all that against the one body of Christ. And when you do that, you get yourself into a pickle that you can never get out of. But let me end this right here. Again, I eat my food, enjoy my coffee, make some more videos, take some more pictures, and say some more cuss words to the haters. Like, fuck you, Demi. Like, I need you, hater. You see me, hustle hard, stack paper, it's alright. Y'all haters, it's nothing. We major. You see me, hi hater, hi hater, hi hater. You see me, bye hater.